Hello everyone and welcome to this episode where we're going to be talking about the summer and amazing time of games. Hey everyone, I hope you're well, playing and are making the games that you all love. You're joining me, your host, Max Pears, and it is great to be chatting to you, whether it is morning, afternoon, or night, or whenever that you are listening to this podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as I said, I do hope that you are all well and safe. So thank you very much for spending your time coming to spend it with me. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to talk to you and to have your attention and for us to talk about amazing things such as games, level design, game dev, and all of these amazing related resources. Now this one is going to be a nice one, a nice way to wrap the end of the month, coming out on the very last day of the month. So happy end of June to everyone when this is released. So absolute pleasure again. Summer, I guess, has really just started in Poland in terms of weather. But by golly gosh, is it hot now? Like, really surprised at how hot it has been. And I hear in England it's a bit of a heat wave as well. But luckily, I was smart and got an apartment with air conditioning, so I suffer no more. So thank you all very much again, now that we've done our little fun introduction, because it is always fun to talk and, just be here with all of you. Now this one is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be a specific, I guess, topic in terms of design, levels or anything, but more just talk about the summer of games in terms of what we've seen. Obviously, COVID has sadly taken E3 away from us, but it did not stop the games and the announcements from coming. So although it would have been far better to see and meet people, any of you, at E3, by golly gosh, it would have been. See, I've said golly gosh, I've found my verbal tick now, but I will stop it. But no, to be able to go and meet up with people. So it's a different one. I've been to E3 twice. I guess this is technicality a third, but it's very different. So I'll be talking a little bit about my experience with it, talking about some of the cool other games that amazing brothers and sisters in this industry are making, and just a little bit about that. Like I said, this probably isn't going to be the longest episode, but it's something I just wanted to talk with all of you about and just have, a bit more of a chilled conversation. So without further ado, and that said, let's just talk about what we're going to go on now. So firstly, let's talk about that elephant in the room, which is Cyberpunk. It is great to be able to show off more to all of you. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure to be part of this amazing team. Obviously, it is not just me involved with this game. There are so many different elements that go into it and so many amazing people that have made this preview so incredible. So shout out to all the people at CD Projekt Red, all of my teammates who've made this possible. Honestly, I think they have all worked incredibly hard, even if some of their work wasn't shown or used for the preview. Trust me, everyone is working extremely, extremely hard. So always show love to all of them. So I just want to talk a little bit about this because it has been a nice little side perk of my job. Obviously, my love and my main objective in my job is to make fantastic levels. But being able to talk about the game and being chosen to represent your company for the game that you're working on is amazing. It's a phenomenal feeling. And sometimes it is a shame because no matter how much you relay back to your team, they're never going to understand or feel necessarily how amazing things went. And it is a shame in that sense. Because I remember years ago, this was back at Ubisoft, when members went to E3 and they came to us and told us about Division, how well that was received. I just remember feeling like I couldn't fathom it because of the fact, again, when you're working on your game, it's hard to see the forest through the trees, right? So you're kind of seeing and putting all the flaws through a microscope, as well as seeing all the pros, but maybe not focus on them as much, because when you're trying to test things, it isn't as going as well. So it's very easy for that to be lost. So it is a shame that not always the team come across. Even this, for example, although that we were still in Poland, not everyone was involved with this, because obviously we've got the game to finish and everyone, as I said, is working super hard for it. But I just want to talk about kind of, like I said, the side activity, I guess that's how we'll refer to it, of doing interviews and what's it like. So for me, it is great fun. Obviously, I do this podcast, so I'm no stranger to talking to people. But it's always fascinating to be able to talk to journalists. And this is something, again, most journalists are extremely nice. Honestly, I've had a great time getting a chance to talk to phenomenal and passionate journalists throughout the industry. There's always some great people to meet. But again, just remember, when you're having these conversations, everyone's kind of got an objective. For the journalists, it's to find out as much information as possible to get the scoop. For someone who's talking about the game, it's about to make sure to highlight the points of the game which are the most exciting and also not spoil the game. Because this is the hardest thing, right? Development has started to become more open, especially between indies and maybe smaller studios, which I think is great. But there is part of the reason why certain things are hidden. Part of that is because when you have teams like marketing and PR, they want you to get the best experience when you find that information, right? I said it last year when we talked about E3. Do you know how amazed I was that the Keanu Reeves information hadn't been leaked? And I know a lot of other people on the team were amazed at that as well, because we thought it was going to happen, because obviously at that point a lot of Ubisoft information had been leaked. They were not the only one. There were other companies, unfortunately. And you've got to understand I understand that people want to break news. I get that. And I understand people are super passionate, excited to hear more. Again, great. That passion is amazing. However, there is a reason why people aren't saying right off the bat, because there's ways you want to find out. If we had the Keanu experience leaked without him coming on stage, the CG version of him, it wouldn't have sold or has been as prominent. So it's those kind of things you have to keep in mind. I know most of you listening to this are devs anyway, so you understand that, or aspiring devs. But it is something to think about.
At Level Design Lobby, we believe everybody has a story to tell. Hobbyist or student, freelancer or veteran, we made it our mission to unite those who share our passion for creating and developing great games. Thanks to our generous Patreon backers, we've been able to do just that. So if you've already pledged your support, thank you. If not, you too can ensure the future of Level Design Lobby, helping us to create even more exciting content, collaborations, interviews, and much more. With awesome perks and rewards, whether you're a seasoned professional or just getting started, you're sure to find something for you. Want to share tips, tricks, and advice with passionate, like-minded developers? Our awesome community Discord has you covered. Fancy practicing your level design, creating strong portfolio content, and having fun? Then try our level design weekends. Or perhaps you want to individually discuss your work, hone your skills, or level up your career? Then consider our one-on-one mentorships. If you share our vision, then go to patreon.com/level design lobby for more information and to pledge your support. Thank you.
When you're talking about your game, make sure you do articulate yourself. It's something that I sometimes struggle with, especially if you've heard me on this podcast. My lexicon is not always the best. But what I'd recommend is for you to just take your time with it and enjoy it. Remember that this is a game that you're excited about, or I hope you're excited about, because you're working on it. And that's sometimes all that people need to see, is the fact that you are excited, so they should be excited. Those elements come through with it. And I think it's always such a hard thing to do, I'd say. It's great when you deliver, but hard to sometimes deliver that, because of the fact that you're trying to make sure that you don't say too much or say the right elements to what is best to talk about. And it is hard. But again, having that experience to be able to talk to the fans, to be able to interact with those who are super passionate about the game, journalists who are here to obviously understand the game more and to hopefully bring more awareness. It is a dream come true in the sense of that's what you want. You want your game to be a not only critical and commercial success. You want those elements. So to be able to be part of that on both fronts was, again, a very, very nice experience. And if you are not aware of what I'm talking about, then I'm talking about my interview on GameSpot. I'll put a link to that in the description down below. Again, COVID bod team, COVID bod and hair. It's not been my best few months, but I got my workout cycle to help me out. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, talk again about the different elements that come into play. It is a fun experience, and I hope that many of you get to experience that in your careers as well, because as I said, I can't really explain it until you've done it. The feeling, it gives you a second wind in many regards. So yeah, as I said, I wish all of you the chance to do that. I hope you do enjoy that, and let's say enjoy the game that you're working on, whether it be the big AAAs to the indie ones that you're working on, or mobile even. Make sure that you get that passion and keep it there, because it is hard to keep it all the way through development. But when you are able to communicate and show that passion, and just take a step back, and hopefully watching someone else play it will give you that fresh perspective as well, it's always great to be able to, love what we do. And I think that's always something we should remember, team, is that we do have a phenomenal job, and it is a great chance for us to work together on a project that hopefully is just fantastic. And I'm just realizing, getting all these beeps on Discord, so let's just close that down. Okay. So yeah, brilliant. I hope that you did like that. Now, let's move on to the actual presentations, because there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm still getting these beeps. I do apologize, team. Let's just... be gone with you. I'm realizing some of you that listen to it is probably you beeping away at it. Oh, man. Yeah, so the games, there was a lot, right? I hope if you have anything that you want to share in terms of what was your favorite, please do leave a comment, because that would be always great to know what it is that that makes you happy, that got you all excited. So I'm going to talk about a few of them. I think there is obviously a lot, as I mentioned before, although it is not E3 in the sense that we know it because of COVID. It still has been a great success in terms of, just as a gamer, I think there's so much to be excited about. So we'll go through a few of them. The first one, I think the one that's the biggest one, was obviously the PlayStation 5 announcement. Or reveal. It is really amazing to see all of the cool and kooky games that are available or will be available for that console. I'd love to know how many are at launch. I'm sure that's many questions we all are asking. But I have been enjoying seeing that. I'm kind of on the fence of how it looks. I think the thing that I like is they're changing up the style, right? Normally that originally PlayStation 1 was grey. They turned it to black for PS2, PS3, and PS4. Now they've switched it over to white as well. So I like that they're trying to refresh the look with this new model. I love the blue and white in terms of the color palette. I think that's really sexy. So I think that all works. I love the look of the controllers. I think the controllers are going to be super nice. So it's definitely got my money. No questions asked. Horizon Zero Dawn 2 looks great. Why am I forgetting the name? Let me pull this up. It's the game with the little wisps on it. Let me just... Something Spirits, is that what I'm looking for? Where are we? Come on. Oh, before I remember the name, actually. New Spider-Man Standalone. That looks really cool there. I don't know what it is, but I think just some of Miles's powers. I've always grown up with Peter Parker, but I think some of Miles's unique powers are going to be such a fun one to play with. I really look forward to that. Oh, obviously we have Resident Evil 8. I'm still too scared to play Resident Evil 7, but I think that looked incredible. Oh, how can we not talk about Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart? My goodness. Every time I see that, it's just a movie. It is just a movie. Really cool stuff to see. Deathloop looks very, very I'm more curious about it. What is it? How much more do we find? Is it multiplayer? All of these. I'm really interested to see more of that. That was it. Kena, Bridge of the Spirits. That one really caught my eye. I think that one's going to be such a fantastic, just looks like a fun and also kind of more wholesome experience. So I'm looking forward to that little devil inside. That also looked like a cool experience too. So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. Honest, there's even more. Chris Tales is another one, and much more. I've probably missed a few, but those are the ones that I really enjoyed the look of. And yeah, can't wait to try them out. So let me know in the comments below or tweet me what was your favorite reveal of the PlayStation 5 one. I'm obviously very late, but happy to talk about it. What other ones do we have? Because there's been so much, right? So much. Baldur's Gate 3. Now that was one that very much excited me. I grew up as a younger child playing Baldur's Gates 1 and 2. Did I complete them? No. Well, I think I actually completed 2, but it was me, my brother, and my friend that completed it together. But I loved it. And to see, I don't know if you saw the gameplay, you should check it out. I'll try to put a link to that. But just seeing the kind of dice roll you use to help check, wow, really cool, honestly. Just again, different gameplay aspect with the tabletop element. I love where they're taking that. So that one looked really incredible to me. I think that one's super nice. What else do we have? Oh, Avengers. Avengers released. I think playing as all those different heroes. I mean, Crystal Dynamics is a phenomenal studio anyway, especially if you haven't tried their Lara Croft series, do check it out. Great work. So I'm really curious to see how each superhero feels, especially with Kamala, Miss Marvel, I believe. She is a phenomenal superhero. I've only read a few of her comics, but I remember when she first came on the scene, or when I first found her on the scene, and she was great, honestly. So I love the fact that she's getting a limelight to shine, because she's definitely one of these newer generation of heroes. And I'm so excited to see, like I said, how it all plays. It's all going to be slightly different in terms of how they interact with the space, especially when we've got characters which fly, such as Iron Man and Thor. Compare that to Hulk, who obviously has a really far jump. Or say that of, why am I forgetting the name? Black Widow, thank you. So yeah, also they've made MODOK into a really scary villain. He didn't always get, especially when I was growing up in the 90s, as a kid who watched the Iron Man TV show, use your words, Max, he was always relegated as that comedy relief character, really stumbling here, to that of Mandarin. So to see how they've turned him into a much more present villain, similar to that, I imagine, of Brainiac. I imagine, I'm sure if we went back in the comic book history, they definitely took from one another. But yeah, that one to me looked really good fun. And as I said, there's so much more. Now I am going to wrap it up because I said I didn't want this one to be a long one. But again, just a crazy cool experience to be a part of everything. Thank you for all the support generally just through the podcast. Thank you to those who support on Patreon, or even if you're not supporting on Patreon, thank you all very much for listening. I really do appreciate all of this and your time, team. Honestly, I really do. So thank you all so much, and I'll catch you all next time.